Boldwood presents Blue Collar Billionaire, written by Amy Andrews and read by Darcy Miller and Daniela Noyer. Chapter 1. Holly. There are 3 things I need this morning: a hot shower, a warm bed, and 12 hours of solid sleep. But the universe, which takes frequent delight in thwarting me, isn't playing ball. It delivers on the hot shower, but I'm now freezing my ass off in my apartment because the heating refuses to bend my will. That's going to make the sleeping bit impossible. The blinding fuzz of white outside my window confirms there's still a blizzard going on out there. I'll be a freaking popsicle after a few hours. I bang the clunky old radiator with a wrench a few more times, hoping for some kind of miracle. That's how tired I am. I should have gotten a job in California, I tell the freezing metal. There aren't any blizzards in California. There's sun and sand and drinks with little umbrellas. But no, I chose the Rocky Mountains. I smash the wrench against the radiator again. For the skiing, which I never get time to do anyway. God, I'm so tired. I've been working all night and I just want to crawl into my bed, burrow under the covers, and not reappear until the blizzard blows itself out. Or I'm back on shift again in 3 days. Whichever comes first. But now I'm going to have to go downstairs and throw myself at the mercy of my building super. Ordinarily, I wouldn't have a problem with taking my lack of heating to Bob. He's been manager of the apartment block for a decade. I've only been here for 2 of those, but he's a nice old guy in his late 60s who can fix anything, and nothing's ever too much trouble. But Bob's off on his annual trek to Reno for 2 months, where he meets up with some old military buddies. They play the tables in between visiting the all-you-can-eat buffet. I don't think he's ever had much of a win because, let's face it, while this building is serviceable, it ain't exactly the Ritz. And if he'd won big, surely he'd retire somewhere nice where he didn't have to be on call to 80 apartments every minute of the day, especially during a blizzard. That job currently, however, belongs to Bob's only living relative, the son of a distant cousin long deceased who has just moved back to the area. Apart from their supernatural ability to fix things, there's absolutely no family resemblance between Bob and Danny Colton. Where Bob is paunchy and moon-faced, Danny is ripped, with a face that's as chiseled as the rest of him. Even his name conjures up dusty cowboys and pistols at dawn. If cowboys had tattoos, because he has plenty of them decorating his chest and arms and neck. He's also irritatingly cocky. The guy only has to look at me and I feel like a stammering teenager again. The kind with braces and no breasts, and he knows it. He has that smug smile that tells me he's used to women's brains melting as he walks by, which is especially irritating for someone like me, who prides herself on her brains and her cool. I'm an ER doctor, for crying out loud. I don't like to brag, but I'm not exactly dumb, and you wouldn't believe some of the shit that goes down at work that never ruffles a feather. But one slight up-tilt of Danny the drummer's mouth, and bang. I drop 100 IQ points. Yeah, he's a drummer, of course. Plays in a rock band by night, hibernates during the day, in between call-outs for leaky taps, broken appliances, and collecting the rent, or whatever an apartment super does. Except for when he's practicing, which always seems to be the days I'm trying to sleep after a night shift. Always. I've had to pound on his door to tell him to shut up several times this past couple of weeks. He always does, but not before he's answered the door looking like God's gift to vaginas and jeans and nothing else but that stupid, sexy smile. It keeps me awake for freaking hours afterwards. I've lost a lot of sleep since Danny Colton came to stay, and lack of sleep makes me cranky. I've been cranky for the past few weeks. I'm really freaking cranky now. Throwing the wrench on the ground, I dash to my bedroom, resigned to my fate. But I have to bundle up first. We'll no doubt end up in the basement, and it'll be sub-zero down there. My long johns might just be right for bed, but I'm going to need more layers. I climb into sweatpants and thick socks, shoving my feet in my Uggs, as I pull a long-sleeved Henley over my head and follow it with a turtleneck sweater, then my puffy navy blue jacket. Reaching for my pink knit beanie with the pom-pom on top, I pull it down to my ears, haphazardly shoving strands of my hair underneath. It's not very fashionable, but it's warm, and my grandmother knitted it for me the winter before she died in a car crash, which devastated the entire family. It makes me feel close to her and reminds me why I'm busting my ass working and studying all hours of the day and night. Finally, I yanked the duvet off the bed and threw it around my shoulders like some kind of kick-ass cape. It's down so it'll keep me warm in the basement. Plus, it totally hides my body, which is a win-win as far as I'm concerned. I need some kind of shield against the way Danny looks at me. Like he wants to play doctor? The kind of doctor that specializes in sexual healing. Shutting my eyes against the temptation of that image, I stalk out of the bedroom. As I sweep past the coffee table, the bulk of the duvet brushes against the stack of study papers I have waiting for me, and they fall to the floor. Fabulous, I mutter, but keep walking. If the room was warmer, I'd probably give a shit. I will later tonight when I have to get them all back into order again, but they are so not my priority at the moment. Getting this place warm is my priority, and for that, I need Danny Colton. Damn it. As it always does, the number 69 confronts me as I shuffle to Danny's door. I guess it's not his fault. This is Bob's place, after all, and somebody has to be apartment 69. But it figures the guy who looks like he knows all the sexual positions in the Kama Sutra, and probably a few that aren't, would end up here. Muffled music leaks around the door, and for some reason, it pisses me off. I'm tired and freezing my ass off, and he's having a house party? The thought he might be entertaining someone in there makes me even more irritated. I never get the chance to entertain. At 27, I have several years to go before I become an attending. I work 80-hour weeks and study whatever hours are left. I barely have time to eat and sleep and forget about anything recreational like shopping and reading and seeing my parents. I barely maintain friendships past people I work with. Relationships? Sex? Pfft. I can't remember the last time I had sex. Hell, I can't even remember the last time I was in the mood for sex. I'm bankrupt on time and drowning in student loan debt. There's nothing groovy sexy times about that. My crankiness dials up another notch. Slipping my hand out from under all my layers, I knock on the door. The cool kiss of air on my fingers makes me grateful for the snugness of the duvet. The tip of my nose is cold, and I don't have to look at it to know it's red. The door remains stubbornly closed, and I grit my teeth and pound my fist against the wood. A beat passes, then another. The door opens on a waft of warm air and Bruce Springsteen, and I'm looking up into eyes as warm and blue as tropical waters. Suddenly, my vagina, yeah, I call body parts by their proper names, it's a doctor thing, remembers exactly how long it's been since it's seen any action. 7 months, 22 days, and it wasn't very good. I came home after to finish the job. The guy, a traveling medical rep, really could have done with reading an anatomy textbook or two. Not that familiarity with anatomy had helped my long-ago ex who had been studying it to be a surgeon. Danny's laugh interrupts my walk down crappy sex lane. Deep dimples bracket either side of his mouth as his eyes take a tour of my Rudolph-nosed Yeti-like appearance. I hunched into the duvet a little more, feeling about as attractive as a dirty slush that's churned up by snowplows. He, on the other hand, glows with warmth and vitality and sex appeal, stretching the shoulder seams of his t-shirt. Green and black tattoos with splashes of colors cling to his biceps, and wings of some description flare on either side of his neck. Soft denim hugs low on his hips and cups every single thing south. His dirty blonde hair is a little on the shaggy side, as is his jaw stubble. He's a tropical mirage, and I want to reach out and touch him just to see if he really does exist. His tour of my bulky form complete, he shoves his shoulder against the door jamb and lazily raises an eyebrow. If the man was any more laid back, he'd be horizontal. Dr. Vincent. Danny says doctor the way most men say baby. It's hot enough to make every single thing I have on at the moment mentally fall off my body in anticipation. I can only imagine how many groupies he must have. I bet my medical degree the people who've been with this man never have to go home and finish the job. My crankiness reaches boiling point. My heat isn't working. His gaze flicks up and down my body again, his mouth quirking sexily. I figured. I blink. Is that it? He figured? Did he think I was standing here dressed like the abominable snowman just to inform him of my current heating situation? Or lack of, as the case may be? A nerve jumps under my left eye, and I quell the urge to still it with my finger. Look, I'm tired. I've worked all night, and I'd like to go to sleep now, but in case you haven't noticed, there's a blizzard happening out there, and my apartment is freezing, and I've no desire to die of hypothermia in my sleep. He grins, flashing those dimples one more time. He actually grins. You doctors. He shakes his head and makes a tisking sound. Always with the big words. My nipples love that tisking sound. They're under a billion layers of clothing and bedding, yet still they perk right up as if his lips have tisked directly against them. Traitors. Annoyed at this development, I cross my arms. Not that Danny can possibly see their reaction to his teasing, but I haven't entirely ruled out the prospect that the man has been gifted with X-ray vision along with his many other attributes. Either way, my erect nipples are none of his business. I smile sweetly. I'll try to keep my words to one syllable in future. Not remotely insulted, the smile hovers on his lips. It'll probably be an easy fix. He pushes off the door jamb. Come in. Ordinarily, I would have stayed on his doorstep. A smart woman like me knows to keep the hell away from temptation, and Danny Colton is temptation wrapped up in glittery paper and tied in a big red bow. But it's warm in there and the corridor is cold, and I'm too tired to fight biology. I take a step into his apartment. It's toasty, but I barely register it, bracing myself instead for the urge to strip off my clothes and demand that Danny do me, which in all honesty is my main concern about crossing his threshold. When it doesn't happen, I relax. When I realize he's disappeared somewhere, I relax a little more. Of course my nipples are still misbehaving. I tweak them under all those layers in an effort to settle them down. It doesn't help. If anything, they get stiffer, and things stir high and deep between my legs like I've somehow just tweaked my own G-spot. Great, I'm turning myself on. In the lair of a sex god. I must be really tired. You stay here. I startle as Danny reappears suddenly and pull my hands off my breasts in case he can see what's happening beneath the duvet. He's put on a hoodie which he's zipped up, and he's carrying a large rectangular leather tool bag in one hand, which I know belongs to Bob. I won't be long, he continues, oblivious to my turmoil. Or at least I hope he is. Oh no, I shake my head. I'm coming with you. Doc. My breath hitches. He hasn't called me that before, and man, it does funny things to my equilibrium. It shouldn't. It's not like I don't get called it about 100 times a shift, but it sounds like a cute nickname on his lips. And that's all kinds of titillating. I have to go to the basement, he says it slowly, like maybe I'm the one out of us that needs small syllables. It'll be cold as a witch's tit down there. I blink at his profanity. I don't use those kinds of words myself. Usually. Not that I'm offended when it comes from others. Lord knows I've been sworn at by patients too many times to count. It's just that my mother always told me cussing was for people who had poor vocabularies. A shame she never told me what a huge turn-on it could be. I know, hence, I look down my body to indicate the reason I'm dressed as if I'm wearing every article of clothing in my closet is because of the basement. If it's a quick fix, then you can teach me how to do it. That way I won't need to belt on your door every time my heating decides to go hinky. No way do I want to rely on Danny freaking Colton any more than I have to, and why should I bother Bob in future if it's something simple? You want to get busy with my tools? He's laughing at me, but I refuse to rise to the bait. I have no doubt he can flummox me with sexual banter, especially given how tired I am, but he can't if I don't engage. I've operated on people's brains and hearts with highly complex surgical instruments. I might be in the ER now, but I've done my surgical rotation. I'm pretty sure I can handle a screwdriver. He smiles bigger. Well, this I gotta see. He indicates for me to precede him, and I sweep out of the room as regally as I can in my floral duvet and pink pom-pom beanie. The door clicks shut behind me as I turn in the direction of the stairs. We'll have to take the elevator, his voice stops me in my tracks. The damp down there has rotted the wood in the stairs. I put my foot through one last night and nearly fell on my ass all the way down. I've cordoned them off. I'll fix them as soon as the storm stops and I can go get the stuff. Turning back in his direction, I try not to think about Danny down in the basement, a tool belt slung low on his hips, getting all covered in sawdust as he repairs the threads. His back view doesn't help. His ass in those jeans is like something out of an anatomy textbook. Too tight, taut buttocks, and I want to strip him just to admire the musculature. A great set of glutes is a magnificent thing. I blink at the direction of my thoughts. What am I doing? Has my brain completely checked out? This isn't the set of a porn film. I must be in the delirious stage of sleep deprivation. I give myself a mental shake and drag my gaze off his ass, going widescreen now. The ease of his swagger as he ambles down the corridor with those perfect glutes is suddenly irritating, and I remember the other thing I find irksome about him. The man never seems to be in a hurry to get anywhere. Like he has all the time in the world, and the world will just wait for him anyway. For someone who's always busy, it's really freaking annoying. There are never enough hours in my day to fit everything in. At work, there's rarely a moment to recoup before the next thing comes along, even in the middle of the night. And if there is a weird lull, I fill it with paperwork. I eat on the run, see patients on the run, take calls on the run. Hell, I rarely even get to go to the restroom. So yeah, I really resent this guy for his sexy, what's your rush, baby swagger. He halts at the elevator, and I shuffle past him to stand on the other side of the doors. The hallway is silent. Its usual Monday morning buzz eerily absent. No one is going to work today. Everyone from the head honcho meteorologist to the police chief to the mayor has urged people to stay indoors until the blizzard blows over. The elevator dings and the door slide open to reveal a sparkling, spotless interior. The cleaning service would have done their thing last night, and what with the weather and all, I doubt anybody's ridden in it since. Danny indicates that I should precede him, so I do. It's a large space registered for 20 people, and warm. Or maybe that's just the heat flowing to my cheeks and buzzing through my thighs as I immediately claim the furthest corner right at the back. Danny smirks as he saunters inside and plants that ass against the wooden railing nearest the buttons, obviously amused by my distance. Pushing the button that says B, he turns his head to look at me. Going down? I cock a sarcastic eyebrow at his suggestive remark. At least I hope it's sarcastic and not a come closer and say that eyebrow my traitorous body has formed without my consent. He just smiles as the doors close, but holy moly, my head is full of images of going down. Of me going down on him going down on me. The elevator shrinks suddenly, and he seems to fill it with his sheer physicality. I feel the pull of him from a few feet away and grip the handrail behind me to stop myself from edging closer as the numbers tick down from 6. So freaking slow. 5, 4, 3, 2. The elevator suddenly shudders to a stop, and the movement jolts through my knees. The lights go out and the alarm starts to ring as the emergency lighting flickers on. It's subdued, but there's enough of a glow so we're not in total darkness. I press a hand to my chest to still my accelerating heart, but it's too late. It's already in my throat. The electricity must have gone out. He says it as calm and laid back as the rest of him, and I want to scream. I'm tired, I need my bed, and the bell is blaring like a freaking huge warning. To me, probably. I do not want to be trapped in an elevator with Mr. Going Down for an indeterminate period of time. The man looks like he knows how to pass the time. He pins me with his gaze, his dimples deepening as his slow, lazy smile grows. Whatever will we do?
Chapter 2. Danny. I don't know why my very existence seems to annoy the crap out of Holly Vincent, but it does. Always has. Since that first day she banged on my door a couple of weeks ago and yelled at me to stop playing my drums, I've had a hard-on for her. She was covered up that day as well in some kind of fluffy-looking dressing gown that went from her neck to her toes, and there'd been a blanket mark on her face. But her dark hair had tumbled all around her face, and she'd glared at me with her weird amber eyes, and I knew I wanted her. Knew I was gonna have her too. Just maybe not today, as she glowers at me from the back corner of the elevator, wrapped up like Kenny from South Park. I cannot be stuck in this elevator. Her voice is 100% pissed off as she stalks towards me, the duvet she has swathed around herself sweeping the ground. I love seeing that spark in her eyes. The spark she had that first day she yelled at me. It's perversely pleasing to see little Miss Cool all fired up, especially considering how much time I've spent wondering just how fired up she might get between the sheets. Of course, it's only me she's cool with. She's a regular ray of sunshine with the other residents, opening doors, carrying bags, putting up vaccination clinic flyers, and always giving free medical advice. You're not one of those panicky women, are you? I ask because I know it's going to piss her off even further, and she doesn't disappoint. She stops in front of me and glares. Do I look like the panicking type to you? Her voice lowers, but it's still vehement enough to be heard over the alarm. And there's a vibrato to it, which I'm fairly sure comes from rage rather than panic. I bet she's awesome when she's angry fucking. I'm just saying. I inject a little redneck into my accent because it seems to piss her off even more when I act dumb. She doesn't need to know that I graduated business school. There's no need to worry. It's a big elevator and there's only 2 of us. We're not gonna run out of air or anything. She rolls her eyes and I suppress a smile. I know that. I have a medical degree. I laugh. Some guys might be insulted by a woman lording it over them because she thinks he's a little lacking in the brains department. Not me. I've seen her checking me out the times our paths have crossed, and I didn't get to 29 without knowing when a woman is interested. She's not as immune to me as she wants me to think. Sure, she's all hottie and brainy and you can't touch this, and she looks at me like I'm too blue collar for her. But sometimes a woman likes a bit of rough. Any drummer can tell you that. And I'm happy to be her piece of rough. I'm happy to be whatever the fuck she wants. Of course, if the building catches on fire, we're toast. She gives me a not funny look. Have I mentioned how tired I am? Right. I turn to the panel next to the buttons and pull open the door. There's a phone with emergency use only emblazoned on the handle and a button for the alarm. I pick up the phone and push the button, and the noise cuts off as abruptly as it started. Silence falls, and I swear I hear Holly sigh. The phone is ringing in my ear as I settle back against the wall again, and I watch her surreptitiously out the corner of my eye. A female voice chirps a greeting, and between the 2 of us, we quickly ascertain that this elevator isn't going anywhere in a hurry, given the demands on emergency services at present. I hang up, and Holly says, Well? It's impatient as hell, and I try not to be either insulted or turned on by her eagerness to be out of here. I know she wants to be back in her bed, but I also know there's more than that going on. I know she doesn't want to be trapped in here with me because she has a thing for me, and she's frightened she might act on it. A situation I certainly wouldn't object to. We do have several hours to kill, after all. My dick is already on board with the idea. They don't know when they'll be able to get here. Probably not for a few hours. She opens her mouth to interrupt, but I don't give her an opening. Services are already badly stretched. There are actual real life and death emergencies going on out there. I don't need to tell her that, of course. As she's fond of saying, she's an ER doctor. She's probably been dealing with them all night. Two healthy people stuck in a large elevator for a few hours are not a priority. She huffs out a sigh. Yeah. It's the most dejected yeah I've ever heard. But they know, and they'll get to us when they can. And she's gonna keep us up to date. And if the electricity comes back on and the elevator starts working again, she wants to know so she can cross us off her list. Holly nods, then slides down the back wall until she's sitting. She bends her legs up, or at least I think she does. It's hard to tell under all that bulk. Sorry. I don't know why I'm apologizing, but she looks exhausted. Even in the reduced lighting, I can see the tautness of the skin around her eyes. I hadn't slept last night either, but I'd just been banging drums all night, not saving lives. She drops her head back against the wall. It's not your fault. You have to work tonight? Nope. Her head rocks back and forth along the wall as she shakes it. Her eyes flutter closed. 3 days off. Which is probably just as well. I doubt she could get in tonight anyway. For damn sure, city officials won't want her out there on the roads trying. Covering the distance between us, I too slide down the wall to sit beside her, leaving a few feet between us. Her eyes, big and amber, blink open. What are you doing? Sitting. I smile, because the answer obviously irritates her. There's plenty of wall space. I thought you might like to lie down. I pat my thighs. Horizontal is always better, and I'm reliably informed they make a very good pillow. She gives a soft snort, and somehow, even though her head only comes to my shoulder, she manages to look down her nose at me. I bet you have been. I laugh. Just saying. She shuts her eyes again. I'm a shift worker. I don't need to be horizontal. I can sleep standing up. I can sleep at a desk or lying on a hard, cold floor. I could sleep hanging upside down like a bat if I had to. That's an image I don't need in my head right now. The things I could do to her in that position. Have it your way. But she doesn't answer, and when I look closer, her lips have parted and there's a slackness to them that tells me she's fallen asleep. Impressive. She really can go to sleep anywhere, even, apparently, mid-conversation. It only takes a minute, though, before she starts to sag and slide towards me. She jerks briefly awake a couple of times, muttering as she rights herself, but eventually, even that's beyond her, and she slides all the way down. I grab her before she face plants into the floor and shuffle my ass towards her a little, sticking my leg under her head. She makes no protest, just squirms for a bit once she's fully horizontal, her head shifting around into my lap. My cock appreciates her subconsciousness, trying to find a position of comfort. But cracking wood is hardly appropriate in this situation. I hold my breath and think of plunging my dick into a snowdrift until she stops wriggling and relaxes into sleep. I have no idea why it's so damn interested anyway. She looks like a giant pig in a blanket. Not one curve or flash of skin exposed, just her pink little face amidst the lumpy duvet, a ratty pair of Uggs, and a pink pop-pom cap. So I ignore my idiot dick and close my eyes, my head falling back against the wall behind. I could use some sleep too. And it's that or get wound up about a sleeping woman I have no intention of touching anyway. She wants me, I want her. And for damn sure, I'm going to explore that a little more while we're both stuck in here if I get the time. But now, she needs to sleep. And I'm going to be the perfect fucking gentleman and let her. Oh God, I'm so sorry. I'm woken by a whispered, scandalized apology, a quick intake of breath, and a sudden lightness in my lap. Holly sits bolt upright and blinks at me, owl-like, from within her bundle of covers. Like she can't remember how she ended up in my lap. Her face is flushed, and I'm not sure if it's from sleep or embarrassment or heat. It's stuffy in here now, the air warm. She must be overheating like crazy. What time is it? She looks around as I dig my phone out of my hoodie pocket. I can't believe it's not even been a full hour since she drifted off. 9:30. Is that all? When I nod, she seems to consider it for a few seconds, then pushes the duvet off her shoulders to reveal a puffy jacket and some sweatpants. It's hot in here. She grabs the rail and hauls herself to her feet, walking to the door. Is it hot in here or is it just me? She turns back and looks at me for my answer. It's a little stuffy, I admit, but you are trussed up like you're about to head up a dog sled team. She looks at herself and grimaces. You're right. Unzipping her jacket with one hand, she pulls the beanie off with the other. I open my mouth to protest. She looks damn cute in that beanie. But then her dark hair tumbles down over her shoulders, and the heat that left my groin when Holly removed herself from my lap surges back. Not content to stop there, she shrugs out of her jacket and tosses it aside. The sweater she has on also goes as she toes off her Uggs. Suddenly, she's a lot less bulky. There's just a ribbed Henley that molds to her tits and her stomach and maybe something else underneath, but not a bra. I don't need to be an expert in boobs, although I am, to see that. That's better, she announces. I concur. Don't stop on my account. She blinks like it's just occurred to her she's performed a bit of a striptease. Color suffuses her cheeks, and this time the flush has nothing to do with the stuffiness of the elevator. She folds her arms and does that looking down her nose thing again. If she thinks she's hiding her tits from me, she's wrong. The pull of her shirt across them makes me salivate. I want to put my mouth on them so bad, my lips burn with the urge. I think it's far enough. Oh no, not nearly far enough. But we'll see. I laugh at her primness, though. I'm beginning to like how she condescends to me, which is about as fucked up as it gets. My balls ache with how much it turns me on. She ignores my laughter as she gathers the duvet, gives it a shake, and spreads it over the floor. It takes up about half of the space, and she sits on top of it, but against the opposite wall. Smart, smart woman. Why do you do that? Her question surprises me as she glares across the space between us, stretching her legs out in front of her. Her socks are stripy, her thighs shapely. Her arms are crossed, and there's a little V drawing her eyebrows together. Why do I do what? I know what she's asking, but I really want to see if she'll say it, if she'll put it out there. Too many times these past few weeks, she's walked away from the invitation in my eyes. Is she going to tackle it now? She raises her chin. Look at me like you know me. Okay, she is going there. My dick stirs at the thought. My pulse quickens. Does she think her forthrightness will scare me off? That I'll back down now she's telling me she knows my game? Because I do know you. She shakes her head. No, you don't. Her denial is swift and vehement. Fair enough. My pulse drums slowly through my groin, the blood thick through my veins as I raise my hands in surrender. But I know some things about you. She looks away, her hands falling to her sides to smooth the duvet cover. Her tits shift nicely, and I look my fill while her attention is elsewhere. I know that I annoy you. She doesn't say anything, just keeps working the duvet. I know you don't want to want me. Her hands halt. But you do anyway. Her fingers pluck at the duvet now. Her breathing roughens. I can hear it from here. That's not true. She's lying, and we both know it. But I'm fine with a little denial. It's okay, I soothe. I understand I'm not your type. But sexual attraction doesn't always come in a neatly wrapped box. Sometimes we want what we want, and there's no rhyme or reason to it. Her hands stop again, and her eyes lift to mine. Our gazes lock. I don't have time for dalliances. Christ. Even the way she says dalliances makes me horny. So prim. I want that proper mouth wrapped around my cock doing improper things. Doc, I smile and shake my head at her. You need to make time. I'm fine. She tosses her head, and I almost groan as her boobs bounce to the movement. I quirk my eyebrow in mock inquiry, just to see her spark up. She does. I am. I shake my head slowly. You're pissed off all the time. Only at you. I laugh. Touché. But she bristles even more at my amusement. I'm only ever cranky at you. Cranky? This woman is hysterical. God, I love your primness. You can't even say the words. Can't say, Danny Colton pisses me off.